Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Ria Story.
You know what, folks? Everyone remembers the first to help, but few remember the second. Think about that. Whenever you needed help, who left the greatest impression? The first one to help or someone else? So today, I'm glad you're joining me for part 24 of the 30-part series on my book, Blue Collar Leadership, Leading from the Front Lines. And remember, this book's an audio, ebook, and paperback. And I'm just sharing some thoughts about it and a couple of points from each chapter. And not really teaching you what's literally in the book. If you want to know that, you got to get the book. But I'm still teaching you the principles and sharing with you a lot of the stuff that relates to the book. I didn't think you want me to read it, and actually, if you do, it's already on audio, so you can go find that on Audible. But I just want to talk to you, as I always do, unscripted, off the cuff, share some quotes with you, and just to provoke thought. So chapter 4 in Blue Collar Leadership is actually titled, Be the First to Help. And I want to share a friend of mine who's also been a client of mine. His name is Greg Williams. He's actually today, he's the 5-time national champion head coach for the Auburn University equestrian team. And I actually met Greg because I was volunteering to build a mountain bike trail. I heard at the bike shop, my wife and I used to be really heavy into mountain biking, and I heard the local state park in Auburn, Alabama, where we lived at the time, was allowing a group to go out and start building trails, and the first meeting was coming up. So I went to that first meeting, and Greg and his wife Sandy was there, and it makes sense that he was there because Greg is always the first to help. I didn't know him then, but I've come to know him quite a bit, and he and his coaching staff were a client for a couple of years. Went in and worked with him and his coaching staff. Ria actually also went in and spoke to the equestrian team, to all the ladies. If you know Ria, my wife, she focuses on leadership development and motivation and inspiration for women. So this was probably in 2013 or 14 when she spoke to the equestrian team, and in 2014 or 15, 13, somewhere around in there is the couple of years that I worked with Greg. He had won 3 championships at that time, and I don't take credit for any of their championships, but it's pretty cool to have worked with them and to see them continue on and go win 2 more championships. And I promise you, he's not won his last one because he does some good things. But what I learned from Greg is really what this chapter is about, being the first to help. And he models it. I always tell people, Greg's he's got like a sixth sense. I remember we've been over to his home for dinners and things like that. And if somebody drops something, Greg is like catching it before it hits the ground. Not literally, but figuratively. He's got a sixth sense. You're not going to be the first to open the door when Greg's around. He's already, I'll see somebody needs the door open, then I'll go to open it for him. Greg can see in advance that they're going to need the door open. They get his attention subconsciously. I don't know how it works. All I know is the man is amazing at being the first to help. I mean, when I'd go in sometimes, do the training, he's always, not sometimes, every time he's wanting to walk me out to my car. If it's raining, he wants to get the umbrella and walk me to wherever I was parked, no matter how far away it was. Unbelievable at being the first to help. So Andy Stanley says this. He said, leaders are not always the first to see the need for change, but they are the first to act. And once they move away from the pack, they are positioned to lead. And being the first to act, being the first to help, that's going to increase your influence with people who are watching, and then also those people that you are helping. And I just want to remind you, think about it. Again, everyone remembers the first to help. Few, if any, remember the second. And it's kind of a common principle, but helping others helps us. Not sometime, every time. Because with people, the little things are the big things. Because when you help someone, especially you're the first to help someone, you're the first to care. It could be caring about a little thing or a big thing. But when people feel like you care about them and you want to help them, I promise you, your influence increases. Find a coworker to help. Look around. Don't just go through the day going through the motions. Look around at your team. Look at your leader. If people report to you, look at them. People work beside you, look at them. Random people. How can you help? My neighbors always, whenever we travel a lot, so we got the big trash can like a lot of people have. You roll out to the road and they pick it up and dump it and you roll it back. And we, depending on when we're leaving, like today, the day that I'm making this video, and again, I record these in advance, but the day I'm making this video, we're leaving to go out of town tomorrow and they don't pick our trash up for a few days. So I got to roll my can out to the road 2 or 3 days in advance. And sometimes I don't get home until 2 or 3 days after they've picked it up. But my neighbor, he follows us on Facebook. He pays attention to what's going on in our yard and if our vehicles are here and all that kind of stuff. And I can tell you this, if we're not home after the day that our trash gets picked up, our neighbor's going to bring it back for us. He just does it. He's always the first to help. And I always look for that opportunity to do the same thing for him. So when we are home, most of the time he's at work and they pick up our trash pretty early. So when I hear him come, if I'm home, I go get my trash and his trash, even though he'll be home that day. Because I would never ask him to get my trash, but he does it. My trash can from the road, but he does it. And I appreciate it. But look for people. Look for your neighbors. Look for your family. Look for your professional life and your personal life. People may not always remember what you said or what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. When they feel good because of you, your influence goes up. Common sense. When they feel bad because of you, your influence goes down. Common sense. So you got to be paying attention. Leadership is influence. Influence is leadership. Leadership is contagious. Leadership is also better when it's caught than taught. Those couple of stories I shared with you. I caught leadership. Greg didn't teach me, hey, I'm helping people first. I want to be the first to help. He didn't teach that. He just did it. My neighbor didn't say, hey, I'm being the first to help. He just did it. Look for those opportunities. A Chinese proverb, by accident of fortune, one may be a leader for a time, but by helping others succeed, one will be a leader forever. Just another way of saying, be the first to help. And Ria, she says this we got a book we wrote together called Change Happens, Leading Yourself and Others Through Change. And I remember I captured this quote from that book, and we wrote it together. It's 30 chapters also. Ria writes the first chapter, I write the second. She writes the third, I write the fourth. So there's 15 sections in that book, 2 chapters per section, one from Ria and one from me. But I remember when I read this, I was like, oh, that's a good quote. I gotta capture it and put it in my files. So Ria says, those who have a heart for serving others in some way will build influence far beyond those who expect to be served. I'm going to say that again from Ria. Those who have a heart for serving others in some way will build influence far beyond those who expect to be served. We talked about a couple episodes ago about taking responsibility. That's what this chapter is about. This is one way you can take responsibility. Be the first to help. That's taking responsibility. Don't expect to be helped, although when people help you, that's going to increase their influence with you, but don't expect it. Everywhere you go, you expect you're the one to help. When Ria and I speak, we see people working, setting up chairs or setting up tables or moving stuff around. When we get there, most of the time they don't want us to help, but that's the first thing we do is we offer. But if there's something we see that needs doing, we just do it. We don't ask, can we help? We go grab the end of the table if somebody's trying to move it or something's heavy, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we're the speakers. We're nobody special. We're there to speak, absolutely, but we're also there to be people with other people. So think about that. Tomorrow when you get to work, go in with a mission. Be the first to help. Don't be second or third or irrelevant. Be the first to help. Have a great day. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mac Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mac's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.